This may be unfamiliar to you, but Syria is a hidden land that holds the source code of human civilization. Before empires ever rose, this country gave humanity voice, writing, and sacred memory. In a mountain village, families still pray and speak Aramaic, the very language spoken by Jesus. Along the coast, clay tablets once carried a compact alphabet, the ancestor of the letters you use today. That alphabet helped turn knowledge into something ordinary people could learn. In Syria's old capital, mosques, churches, markets, and ancient stories continue to thrive across living streets. Syrians keep this inheritance alive through daily practice, not by storing it away. Memory endures because people preserve it with their hands, voices, and devotion across thousands of years. Do not see Syria merely as a country bearing the scars of war. See it as the starting point of human civilization. Without this land, the letters and words you write and speak every day would not exist. Come with us into Syria and explore the source code of human civilization. The journey begins at the ancient city of Malula, nestled in the Kalamun Mountains northeast of Damascus. This village is known for its churches, monasteries, and narrow passageways. Christian life became central here in late antiquity. The most important sites include the monastery of Saints Sergius and Bacchus, and the monastery of Saint Thecla. Both remain active pilgrimage destinations. But Malula's greatest significance is linguistic. Residents still preserve Western Neo-Aramaic, a modern descendant of ancient Aramaic. In Malula, you experience Syria through sound first. You walk between pale cliffs, stone houses, and narrow lanes where Aramaic still survives in daily life. This is the native language of Jesus. Most scholars agree that Jesus spoke almost exclusively Aramaic, specifically the Galilean dialect. Aramaic spread widely across ancient Near Eastern societies, serving administration, trade, scripture, and everyday speech for many communities. While other ancient languages like Latin are now found only in books, Aramaic in Malula continues to be spoken after 2,000 years. You hear this heritage during Aramaic chant rituals, the most rudimentary form of Christian prayer, focusing entirely on the pure human voice. The chanting is usually led by clergy or trained singers, with the community responding through repeated lines and shared pronunciation. For the faithful, this ritual connects with the Bible, sacred sites, and national identity. It also teaches younger generations how sacred language should sound. For linguists, preserving the original pronunciation allows them to reconstruct the entire ancient sound system of the Levant region. Malula suffered severe damage during the Syrian war. Churches, homes, icons, and community spaces have been repaired since the violence ended. Today, local clergy, residents, heritage workers, and religious communities help protect the village. They restore buildings and reopen pilgrimage routes. Language preservation also continues through family use, church teaching efforts, and recordings of songs and prayers. You can visit the cliffside religious sites, watch pilgrims light candles, and follow paths between shrines and caves. Move slowly. Malula feels precious because you are hearing a language that history almost lost. Having existed continuously for over 11,000 years, Damascus is the oldest capital city in the world. It is also one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth. Located in southwestern Syria near the Barada River and the Ghouta Oasis, its long history stretches from ancient settlement through Aramean, Roman, Byzantine, Islamic, Ottoman, and modern periods. Under the Umayyads, Damascus became the capital of a vast caliphate, connecting Syria with the wider Levant, North Africa, Iraq, and Arabia. You see its importance through streets, mosques, markets, churches, schools, and caravan buildings. The city has been a center of trade, scholarship, law, worship, and administration for centuries. For Syria, Damascus remains a historic capital. For the Arab world, it represents political authority and religious learning. The Umayyad Mosque occupies the religious center of the Old City. Al-Walid, the sixth king of the Umayyad Arab dynasty, ordered its construction in the early 8th century. You enter a broad courtyard with arcades, marble surfaces, and mosaic decoration. The prayer hall includes reused columns and a major ceremonial space. The mosque became a model for Islamic architecture across the region. Its minarets, gates, and courtyards still organize prayer for worshippers and visitors. Most importantly, this mosque still houses the tomb of John the Baptist, a saint revered by both Christianity and Islam. The Sayyida Ruqayya shrine stands near the Umayyad Mosque in the old urban fabric. In Shia tradition, it is linked to Ruqayya, daughter of Hussein ibn Ali, one of the most important figures in Islam. Pilgrims arrive for prayer and mourning. The site also supports shops, lodging, and services used by visiting families. Al-Azm Palace belongs to Ottoman-era Damascus and its elite urban administration. Asad Pasha al-Azm, the governor of Damascus under the Ottomans from 1743 to 1757, built it in the 18th century as a residence and seat of authority. The palace separates public, private, and service areas with careful planning. You pass through courtyards, reception rooms, fountains, stone floors, and painted wooden ceilings. A distinctive feature is the ablak system, alternating black and white stone strips combined with courtyard fountains to naturally regulate air temperature. It now functions as a museum of popular traditions, displaying domestic objects, costumes, crafts, and Damascene interior design. Khan Asad Pasha is the largest and most beautiful travelers' inn in Damascus. Located along the legendary Silk Road, it was built in the 18th century for merchants, animals, goods, and caravan traffic. You enter through a monumental doorway into a large courtyard. Domes, stone piers, upper galleries, storerooms, and stable areas once served long-distance trade. This is proof of Damascus's status as a crossroads of the world, where the flow of goods and culture from all over humanity once converged. At Al-Nafera Cafe, located right next to the ancient mosque, the Hakawati ritual is one of the most distinctive cultural features that still survives. The Hakawati preserves the spoken culture of Damascus. A storyteller sits in the cafe, often with a book, a staff, or simple gestures, reading and performing long tales before a listening audience. Before radio and television, this ritual filled every coffeehouse in the evening. Today, cultural groups and cafes revive it as public heritage. It would be a huge mistake not to experience the unique culinary culture of Damascus. Start with kibbeh, one of Syria's most beloved dishes. The core ingredients are finely ground meat, bulgur wheat, onions, and warm spices. The flavor feels earthy, fragrant, and deeply homemade. You taste lamb or beef first, then cracked wheat, allspice, and toasted nuts. For a drink, choose strong Syrian coffee with cardamom. Sip it slowly after a quiet pause from walking through the old city. In Damascus, this cup feels tied to hospitality, memory, and the social rhythm of the city. Now the road rises towards Sednaya. Sednaya stands in the mountains north of Damascus, where monastic life formed around early Christian devotion. The monastery is linked to the Byzantine period and Emperor Justinian, who ordered its construction. Sednaya became a major Marian pilgrimage center in Syria. For centuries, it has drawn believers from across the Levant and the wider Arab world. Its role connects early Christianity, Eastern liturgy, and continuous ritual practice across changing political eras. The monastery rises on a rocky height, built with thick stone walls, narrow passages, and fortified outer layers. You see defensive features combined with sacred architecture. The complex includes chapels, courtyards, stairways, and enclosed chambers. The main church holds icons, altars, lamps, and carved surfaces. The structure survives through durable stone construction, compact layout, and repeated restoration across centuries. One of the most distinctive rituals performed at Sednaya is the Divine Liturgy, which follows the rhythm of Eastern Christian worship. Clergy begin with incense, prayers, and formal chants. The congregation stands, listens, and responds through repeated lines. Candles are lit and placed near icons. The service includes scripture reading, hymns, and Eucharistic ritual. The icon of the Virgin Mary holds central focus. Pilgrims approach with offerings, touch sacred surfaces, and pray. The ritual teaches continuity through repetition and shared participation. Today, Sednaya is preserved by clergy, local communities, and religious institutions. Restoration work repairs damaged walls, protects icons, and maintains structural stability. The road from Sednaya reaches Ain Dara, an Iron Age temple site near Afrin in northwestern Syria. The temple stood in the Afrin Valley, with a lower town spread below. The site was active from the Late Bronze Age into the Iron Age within Syro-Hittite and Aramean culture. You see basalt blocks, limestone foundations, carved lions, sphinx figures, stairs, and a raised temple platform. Its most unusual feature is the giant footprints carved directly into the basalt floor. Each footprint is nearly 1 meter long. They appear along the ritual approach, as if marking movement into sacred space. The footprints were formed by cutting into hard basalt, then finishing the surface with careful tool work. Their meaning remains debated. They may represent a deity entering the temple or receiving worship inside. Scholars often interpret them as divine footprints. Ain Dara mattered because it records northern Syria's ritual architecture before later classical and Islamic periods. Its plan has been compared with descriptions of Solomon's temple, especially its porch, hall, and inner sanctuary. For Syria and the Arab world, it preserves an earlier religious layer beneath later Abrahamic traditions. Crac des Chevaliers stands west of Homs on a high route between inland Syria and the Mediterranean coast. It was first established in the 11th century, when Kurdish troops held the position for local rulers. In the 12th century, the Knights Hospitaller took control and rebuilt it as a major Crusader stronghold. You see a fortress made for layered defense, inner walls, outer walls, towers, galleries, halls, and ramps all work together. The fortress's concentric plan was its greatest military feature. Attackers had to cross one defensive line before facing another. The castle also used limestone, vaulted chambers, arrow slits, projecting towers, and steep approaches for defense. It survived because of massive masonry, a protected hilltop position, and continuous reuse across Crusader, Mamluk, Ottoman, and modern periods. Crac des Chevaliers first proved its strength in 1190. Saladin, the founder of the Ayyubid dynasty, came near the castle after major victories in the region. Yet he avoided a full assault due to its extremely good defensive capabilities. The real turning point came in 1271. Sultan Baybars, the fourth Mamluk Sultan of Egypt and Syria, arrived with strong forces, siege engines, and a clear plan to take the fortress. Baybars successfully captured Crac des Chevaliers, but he did not erase the castle. He preserved much of it, repaired key sections, and adapted the stronghold for Mamluk rule. Centuries later, fighting and shelling during the Syrian war damaged parts of the structure, including the chapel area. Government forces retook the site in 2014 after battles around Al-Hussein village. The fort has once again suffered modern scars on its medieval history. Today, Crac des Chevaliers is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Property and remains on the list of World Heritage in danger. Specialists prioritize stabilization over heavy reconstruction, protecting historic fabric and damaged sections with controlled intervention. The next road turns toward Hama, where the Norias of Hama preserve a different kind of engineering. The Orontes River flows through Hama, where large wooden wheels have turned for many centuries. The Norias of Hama were developed during classical and medieval periods. They were built to raise river water into aqueducts supplying homes, gardens, mosques, and public fountains. You see structures of remarkable scale. Some wheels reach over 20 meters in diameter, fixed along the riverbanks. Each Noria uses wooden paddles and compartments. As the river current turns the wheel, water lifts upward into stone channels. The system requires no external power. Flowing water alone drives the entire mechanism. Regular maintenance kept them operational across generations. You hear a steady creaking sound as the wheels turn. This sound became part of Hama's identity. Today, most Norias no longer serve their original function. Modern systems have replaced their practical role. Yet their value remains strong. They represent traditional engineering, environmental adaptation, and continuity of urban heritage. Visitors now gather along the riverbanks to observe their movement and sound. Local authorities and heritage organizations are working to maintain the remaining wheels and document their construction methods. They also carry out structural repair, wood replacement, monitoring of river conditions, and protection of surrounding areas. These rudimentary machines have become symbols of resilience and unwavering vitality. In the next destination, stone roads and fallen columns now extend across the plains of Apamea. Apamea lies northwest of Hama above the Gob Plain, near the Orontes River. Seleucus Nicator, a Macedonian general during the reign of Alexander the Great, developed it around the early 3rd century BCE and named it after his wife, Apama. The city grew as a Seleucid military base, then became a major Roman and Byzantine center. Its position gave control over routes between inland Syria, Antioch, and the coast. You stand before one of Syria's greatest colonnaded avenues. The Great Colonnade ran for nearly 2 kilometers along the city's main north-south street. Its columns show both plain shafts and spiral fluting. This difference gives the avenue a rare visual rhythm. Its enormous scale confirms that Syria was once one of the wealthiest and most important provinces of the Roman Empire, where urban civilization reached its peak in both aesthetics and spatial planning. Stone bases, limestone paving, drainage channels, and portico floors supported daily movement and public ceremony. Today, its value is historical and archaeological. The site preserves one of the clearest Roman urban axes in Syria. It also shows how Hellenistic foundations, Roman rebuilding, and Byzantine adaptation occupied the same city. Preservation now depends on documentation, site monitoring, artifact protection, emergency assessment, and future professional restoration when conditions allow. Beyond Apamea's long avenue, the road turns south toward Basra, where black basalt holds another imperial memory. Basra stands in southern Syria, where ancient caravan routes connected Arabia, Damascus, and the wider Levant. The city grew from an earlier Nabatean settlement before Rome annexed the region in the 2nd century. Basra then became the capital of Arabia province. Its black basalt architecture gives the site a durable character. Streets, baths, churches, mosques, gates, and houses remain across the city. The Roman theatre is Basra's greatest monument. Built in the 2nd century and later enclosed within Ayyubid fortifications, the theatre became protected by defensive walls instead of standing exposed like many Roman theatres. It could seat thousands of spectators and measures over 100 meters across. Its cavea, orchestra, galleries, and entrances remain highly complete. Ancient audiences gathered here for performances, public ceremony, and civic identity. The theater turned entertainment into organized urban life. Basra also held early Christian buildings and important Islamic monuments, The Al-Omari Mosque remains among Syria's oldest surviving mosques. In-depth analysis reveals that Basra is a perfect blend of Roman entertainment art and Islamic defensive architecture. Today, Basra's value reaches beyond architecture. It records Nabatean, Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic layers within one urban site. Basra endures through basalt, reuse, and repair. Its theater still shows how public architecture could survive changing empires. UNESCO listed the ancient city of Basra as World Heritage in 1980. It remains on the danger list because of conflict impacts. The next horizon rises toward the Aleppo citadel, where war, trade, and fortified power gather above the city. Souk al-Medina lies under covered alleys beside the Aleppo citadel. It remains one of the world's largest historic covered markets, with routes extending for about 13 kilometers. Most sections developed during the medieval Islamic period, especially from the Mamluk and Ottoman eras. Aleppo's position on caravan routes made it a major commercial city. The souk later changed through many periods: Ottoman trade, modern commerce, war damage, fire, and gradual restoration. You walk through vaulted passages where shops open close to each other. Merchants arrange goods at doorways. Buyers compare quality, ask prices, and move between narrow lanes. Some repaired sections now reopen, while damaged areas still show the cost of past conflicts. Textiles are one famous product here. Aleppo traded silk, cotton, wool, garments, and tailored cloth through specialized khans and alleys. You see folded fabrics, hanging dresses, scarves, and shopkeepers measuring cloth with quick hands. Spices bring another identity to the souk. The old spice market sold herbs, dyes, dried foods, and imported seasonings. You find cumin, sumac, cardamom, pepper, dried lemon, and mixed blends packed into sacks and jars. Evening changes the souk's movement. Lamps brighten restored arches. Families pass cafes and shop fronts. Tea sellers move between customers. Souk al-Medina mattered because it joined Aleppo's economy, social life, and cultural identity in one dense network. It supported merchants, craftsmen, travelers, and families across generations. At Souk al-Medina, you should try mahamara, one of Aleppo's most expressive dishes. The texture is thick and rustic, almost like a spread made from fire, fruit, and stone mortar. For a drink, try tamarind juice. It provides a tangy, sweet flavor and cooling sensation after walking through stone alleys. The sourness cuts through mahamara's richness, while the sweetness lingers gently in your mouth. Street vendors often serve it chilled, especially in warmer months and during Ramadan evenings. Now let's explore the most special craft still alive in Souk al-Medina, the making of traditional Aleppo soap. This craft began in the old workshops of Aleppo, where production has continued for more than 1,000 years. It developed during early Islamic periods, when Aleppo became a center for trade, oil production, and urban industry. Over time, the soap gained regional and international demand. Wars and economic decline later reduced production, but many workshops have restarted in recent years. You follow the process step by step. Olive oil is heated in large stone or metal vats, then mixed with water and lye. Workers stir the mixture slowly over several days. Laurel oil is added near the final stage. This ingredient gives the soap its distinct scent and skin properties. The balance between olive and laurel oil defines quality. When the mixture is ready, it is poured across a flat floor to cool. Workers walk across the surface using wooden boards tied to their feet. They cut the hardened layer into cubes using long blades. Each bar is stamped with the maker's mark. The soap is then stacked into tall ventilated towers, where it dries and ages for several months, sometimes over a year. This aging process is what makes it unique. The outer layer changes color while the inside remains green and soft. The product is valued for its simple ingredients and contains no artificial additives. Historically, Aleppo soap traveled along trade routes to Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Today, it is exported again, though in smaller quantities. For Syria, this craft represents continuity of urban industry, family knowledge, and local resources. It connects agriculture with manufacturing. Preserving it requires active workshops, trained workers, stable supply chains, and market demand. Cultural recognition also supports its survival. From these warm, scented workshops, the journey shifts sharply toward the ancient heritage of Palmyra. Palmyra stands in central Syria, where desert routes once connected the Mediterranean, Mesopotamia, Arabia, and Persia. Its settlement history reaches deep antiquity, while its greatest urban power came under Roman rule. Trade made the city wealthy. Caravans brought silk, spices, textiles, incense, metals, and ideas through its streets. Queen Zenobia, ruler of the Palmyrene Empire in Roman Syria, turned it into a brief regional power in the 3rd century. Rome later defeated her expansion, but Palmyra's name remained linked with authority and resistance. You see the scale of Palmyra through the Great Colonnade, which ran for about 1,100 meters. Temples, agora spaces, theater remains, funerary monuments, and urban quarters stood along Palmyra's axis. Its architecture joined Greco-Roman planning with local Syrian, Mesopotamian, and Persian influences. Limestone columns, carved capitals, temple courts, tower tombs, and relief sculpture created a distinct architectural language. Palmyra still stands because many structures used durable stone, deep foundations, and massive wall systems. Burial under sand and careful excavation also protected parts of the city. The site suffered severe destruction during the Syrian war. The Temple of Bel, Temple of Balshaman, and Arch of Triumph were damaged or destroyed by Islamic State militants. Even so, major remains survive. You can still walk between columns, theater areas, temple ruins, tomb zones, and open archaeological ground. Palmyra matters because it records Syria as a meeting point of trade, empire, religion, and cultural exchange. This historical site remains a national symbol and World Heritage Site. Your most valuable experience here will come from slow observation. Study the colonnade, read surviving inscriptions, visit the theater area. After Palmyra's open ruins, Syria turns toward a humbler architecture where beehive houses preserve domestic life through earth and climate. Arwad Island lies 3 kilometers off Tartus on Syria's Mediterranean coast. It is Syria's only inhabited island. The island was known in antiquity as Arados. Phoenician settlement developed here during the early 2nd millennium BCE. Arwad became a maritime city-state with harbors, walls, houses, ships, and trade links across the eastern Mediterranean. The small size of the island forced people to build densely. Homes, lanes, workshops, and harbor spaces stand close together across limited ground. The most striking feature is the massive stone walls surrounding the island, huge blocks weighing tons, fitted tightly together to withstand the erosion of Mediterranean sea waves. Today, Arwad remains a living fishing town. People repair nets, prepare boats, sell fish, and move between homes and harbor. You see fishermen leaving early in the morning as the sun rises and returning when the sunset glows orange on the water. The surrounding sea has a varied Mediterranean ecosystem with many kinds of fish, algae, sponges, shellfish, and plankton communities. Sponges are an important species here. They once had a known presence near Arwad, then declined because of pressure and pollution. Recent reports describe sponges returning to parts of the Syrian coast. Their survival depends on clean water and responsible fishing. Another notable species is the Indo-Pacific sargent, recorded southeast of Arwad in recent scientific reporting. Arwad's value comes from Phoenician heritage, Crusader remains, fishing life, and island settlement all in one place. You experience Arwad best by boat, then on foot. The harbor, lanes, fortress remains, and fish markets can all reveal its living history. This is the final point in your journey across Syria, where history ends with movement, music, and devotion. The whirling dervishes belong to Sufi practice, especially the Mevlevi tradition linked to Jalal al-Din Rumi. In Syria, Sufi orders became part of religious life through lodges, mosques, shrines, and urban gatherings. The ceremony is often called sima, meaning spiritual listening. It combines prayer, music, disciplined movement, and remembrance of God. You first see performers enter in long white garments. A tall felt hat covers the head. A dark cloak may be removed before the turning begins. The ritual starts with stillness, greeting, and musical preparation. Reed flute, drums, and chanting create the formal rhythm. The dervish begins turning on the left foot, while the right foot guides repeated rotation with trained control. The arms open during the movement. One hand turns upward while the other turns downward. Every gesture has religious meaning. The dancer receives divine mercy and shares it with the created world. In Syrian culture, this ritual preserves Sufi devotion, public spirituality, music, and disciplined performance. It connects faith with artistic training. Today, Syrian families, cultural groups, and Sufi practitioners keep the tradition active through performances, teaching, and community events. You have finished the journey through Syria, the hidden land that holds the source code of human civilization. You saw early language preserved in Melula, the first alphabet shaped in Ugarit, and living history carried through Damascus. You walked through fortresses, markets, temples, and cities that shaped belief, trade, and power across the Levant. You followed daily life through soapmakers, island fishermen, and traditional homes. You also witnessed loss, damage, and the effort to preserve historical sites. If this journey has given you deeper insights into the world, please continue to follow us by subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next trip.